Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, they're just 247 days until Christmas 2022. Oh, and we've had a wonderful week of Star Wars news. And I'm super excited to be here with Meg again today to talk about the weekend review. How are you doing this fantastic Friday, Meg?
I'm doing okay. I can hear myself.
Oh, let me see. Hold on. That's probably my fault. Let me check something here. And it's my fault. Let me get in here. There you go. Now that'll be done. Gone.
All right, that's
no more
good.
Echo. Yeah. Very good. It's because I changed my setup and I'm using OBS and it's got some features in it, but it allows me to bring in desktop audio. And because I'm hearing you and it's importing it, we got the echo. So anyway, any exciting, fun plans for the weekend?
Not really.
No. I know you've been working on a move coming up, preparing for that and all.
Yes, that should be in a month or two.
Okay. All right. Well, we do have a lot of news, and today a Vanity Fair article just came out a few moments ago, and I read through it, and I am super nerded out by it. And maybe not everybody shares my same enthusiasm for orchestral music, but this one has me super excited, and I want to go through it a little bit with you. And talk about it because I know you also have a musical background, and this is from Vanity Fair, and they're interviewing our composer Natalie Holt. Now this news broke earlier in the week, right?
Good old Natalie.
Yes. and so now this is official. It's the cat's out of the bag. And Vanity Fair is running with the article exactly, and says she just got a card from Deborah Chow. This card is fantastic as well. Have you seen anyone like this? It says it's Darth Vader surrounded by stormtroopers. It says showing off a cover, and it says we do everything for him, but does he ever say thank you?
It depends. I've seen a postcard like it where Vader is at full mast with his whole George Michael showing, but I've never seen the one that she's referring to.
What? Oh my goodness! Right, I got that, but I got the George Michael reference. Yes, but they're interviewing here. Deborah Chow sent her the thank you card, and she's talking about getting to be put in collaboration with John Williams. And there's a really cool part here as I was reading through the article in where is it here? I think it's in the third question. That's it. Yeah. How did you and John Williams come to work in tandem? And I love this answer because she says Obi-Wan's a legacy character, and John hadn't written a theme for him because he had died quite early in A New Hope, right? Force Ghost. So John Williams, he never created a Obi-Wan Kenobi theme.
Ben's theme.
Apparently not.
But I'm pretty sure John Williams literally said in the behind the scenes of like Empire Strikes Back, the Force theme was originally going to be Ben Kenobi's theme.
Well, all I can do is read what John Williams said.
I'm pretty sure that's the whole thing of Star Wars Rebels as well, because they keep using that throughout Rebels, and then when we see Maul versus Obi-Wan, they use that theme as well.
Is it just because he's a Force ghost? It's a Force theme?
No, it's legit. The reason they wrote the theme in the first place. It's just like the original Star Wars theme was meant to be Luke's theme.
It says that John Williams said, I just want to write a Benny theme. Benny. Good old Benny. Kenobi. Benny Kenobi. So
I think Pablo Hidalgo wrote this article. Full of inaccuracies.
No, no, X-Wing. That's hilarious. He said he just wanted to write a Benny theme. Or maybe he's got an Obi-Wan theme, but he wanted to write a Benny theme. There's a difference. Ben Kenobi versus Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I see.
You're not buying it.
No.
I could tell. It says, I just want to write a Benny theme. Who can deny him that? And he did. He wrote the Obi theme, and it just embodies the spirit of the show entirely. We had heard about, there we go. Yes, fan Jettster, 10 months of membership. Amy Henning's back. Yeah, we're going to talk about her in just a bit. But I think this is really cool. We'd heard about John Williams working on the score, but the presumption was he was tweaking Leia's theme for a very young Leia. And what we're hearing here is he wrote a brand new theme for Benny, good old Benny. Not Benny and the Jets, but Benny.
Maybe John Williams' age caught up with him and he completely forgot he already wrote it in 1977.
Could be.
Poor guy. They should just let him retire.
A new Meg's Benedict theme. There you go. Very good. Hey, Sheev, good to see you. They wouldn't talk about Leia either way. Yeah, I saw you talk about that, Jason. So I just think it's super exciting. I can't wait to get to hear Benny's theme. I can't wait to get to hear a new John Williams.
He's getting Biden brain. My favorite Biden gaffe is when Joe Biden was like, I'm Joe Biden, Joe Biden's husband.
Yes. Yeah, instead of Jill Biden. I'm just excited to get to hear a new John Williams composition, especially one written specifically for Obi-Wan, and that by her recollection or her reporting is it embodies the spirit of the show entirely. I'm really, really excited for that. And then I was reading further into the article, and I was sharing with you just before we came on the stream together that as a musician myself, I was a trombone player and was involved in orchestral type work as a professional trombone player. Got to play with the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra over in Indiana, and that was a lot of fun. But I'm reading through here, and it's talking about how would you describe the new Obi-Wan theme? Like, this is to me, this is a big deal. A new Obi-Wan theme is a huge deal. It says it's reflective, entirely appropriate. It is to me. It says distills what the show is in about the just perfect way John Williams can. It's wistful. There's an element of hope. It's doing something new, and I think people are going to be blown away by it. I'm already blown away by it, and I haven't even heard it.
I mean, that describes every piece of music ever in Star Wars.
And then she talks about working with Deborah Chow, and there's a lot of quotes in here that can get fans fired up, right? There's another one right here. Says Deborah's done just a fantastic job, and obviously Ewan's just delivering the performance of his career. Oh! Take a sip for that. That's again really, really exciting.
Chill is real in this one.
Indeed, it is. It says she's a violinist. She performs in her score, and she sings and playing the viola, and playing some violin in there as well. And I want to keep going because there's another piece I want to talk about down in here. She said she's working with the same orchestra John Williams uses. All his key players were playing for her. He's also
the London Symphony Orchestra.
Well, she was in L.A. She mentioned doing the recording in L.A. and she was in
America.
Gordonson's studio. So I think she was using his L.A. orchestra, not the London orchestra. Yeah. Right. Right. I think we could get overhyped about it. I've been trying not to get overhyped about it, but this has got me excited. So here's the part that I read to Meg right before we came on the live stream. This is obviously we want to fit into the Star Wars universe and struck by the themes and music that's come before. But I'm really struck by what the TV shows have done in terms of breaking away from tradition too, as with Ludwig's compositions for The Mandalorian. How would you characterize the balance of what you've tried to accomplish? She said, I think is an emotional score, and it does have its roots in Star Wars tradition, a little more than The Mandalorian does. Now, I love Ludwig's score. The Mandalorian theme is great, but here she's going more the traditional. She mentioned she's worked with John Williams Orchestra, and here's the part that gets me more excited.
You want to know
we had
something?
A collection of,
John Williams would only have worked with a violinist, and obviously she is as well. But I remember after The Rise of Skywalker came out, he made a statement being like, "I don't really compose for brass or woodwind or anything like that anymore. He primarily composes obviously on piano, and then he's worked directly with violinists, and they tend to do the composition for the various sections on his behalf." But that's kind of been the case
Cool.
since 2019. I found that out this morning through JW Fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, getting caught up on the John Williams fan site. Yeah, and Ludwig did go electronic. Ludwig also did this really neat thing with most of us here in the States. I don't know about you, but in grade school, we have to in one year, kids learn the recorder, little flute-like instrument. Everybody here has played the recorder at one year of grade school, typically like third or fourth grade. So 8, 9 years old. You guys do the recorder thing?
We do.
Yeah.
We did it in year 5. I don't know what grade that would be in America.
How old is grade 5?
That's like 9 or 10.
Okay, so 4th, 5th grade.
9, something like that.
Yeah, you have 5, so you kind of get there. So kindergarten is 5 years old, and then first grade is 6. So you add 5, so 1 plus 5, 6 years old. 4th grade would be 9, 5th grade would be 10. But Ludwig used a collection of recorders. Really huge ones, all kinds of different sized recorders. Shanks never played the recorder. Well,
Ludwig was just kind of improvising by himself on the bass recorder, and that's when he came up with the Mandalorian theme. And obviously, because he's a drummer and a guitarist, he put it all together. It's such an amazing theme. Honestly, props to him for that score.
Look, the gallery episode that features Ludwig is one of my favorite. Just seeing his creative process through that was tremendously entertaining to me. But here it mentions that she had a collection of 250 horns and flutes, and she used the hunting horn in the score.
That is one hell of a horny orchestra.
It certainly is. Oh, my favorite kind. My favorite kind of orchestra. A very horny one. Yes. Who needs the American way? Who needs strings when you got 250 horns?
Depends if it's a G string. Then we all need one. Complimentary G strings when we reach 1 million subs, guys. Santa's words, not mine.
Oh,
kind of mine.
No, come on. Those words have never come out of my
yet.
Yes, Obi-Wan to homie. Exactly. Ludwig's musical sensibilities. And I think him winning those awards was rightfully earned. So this article keeps going. They talk about the few dark side characters, inquisitors, what instruments are best for conveying dark side themes, and she loves the hunting horn.
They used a lot of hunting horn in Attack of the Clones, by the way. over 480 instruments were used in Attack of the Clones, including a tenor ukulele, although I can't think of where that would have been. Probably like Anakin's wedding. As you know, I've done a lot of research on episode 2 for the thing.
You have, and you're putting the pieces together. I assume, for getting that.
Indeed.
X-wing. My profession is hunting horn. He hunts horns.
Or he hunts hornily. Jedi Jen says she used to play the French horn, so she used to be horny in France. I think we've all had a period of time in our 20s where... Sorry.
French horn is one of my favorite instruments. They're somewhat difficult to play, but they're one of the few that are left. They're fingered with the left hand.
We all like to finger things with our left hands.
I almost didn't say it, but how else do you like the keys?
And the intonation's really difficult.
Right. But I love the French horn. The sound of the French horn, it's fantastic. And John Williams wasn't afraid to use it. So really, really good. Yes, I know, Adam. It was a layup. I couldn't. I was like, I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't say it, but I didn't know how else to convey it. And I love this. I think it's great. And this article has me hyped. It has me super hyped. And I know we should be careful with that because we've been hyped before. We've been let down. But this is great. This is great. Talks about some of the themes, any cultural musical influences. It talks about Dixieland being involved in the Cantina piece. I was actually in a Dixieland band that traveled around, and I love playing trombone in a Dixieland band. It's a ton of fun. It's great.
There's kind of an irony to that statement. I don't want to get too political, but just...
I see where you're going.
You're a conservative guy, and it's just hearing a conservative saying you're part of a Dixieland piece. Sorry, please continue. It's just the way it came out.
Yeah. So she talks about some of the themes, and in here she mentions each world has its own character, and we already heard of one of them, but let me see if I can get there. Oh, here it is. There are Latin influences on one of the planets, which is cool. I love Latin music. And then there's Thai and Hong Kong sounds that are more Eastern. Now, we had already heard about this planet, right? Matthew Cruz, thank you for the $5 super chat. Can you tell me how hyped you are for Kenobi? Give me a hyped. Give me a hyped, if just a little hyped. Give me a hyped, like Sheev does if you're 10 out of 10 hyped. Well, that's the best Sheev I can do.
On the screen, and Santa can do way more than that on screen.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, no, I don't have a good poker face. I am like, I need to calm down kind of hyped. That's how hyped I am. But no, we heard about this planet, that the Thai Hong Kong kind of influence.
That's it was based on Seoul, South Korea. What's the planet called? The one with the river. When she's like about to swoop down from the rooftop.
Yeah, she's doing her Batman pose on top of the building there. Yeah. Yeah. Mad Rapport is what they're saying. Jedi Mike. Thank you for that.
No, that's not right.
That's the other one. Dayu. There you go. Jason Ward for the win. Yeah. So I'm expecting that Dayu's going to have the Thai Hong Kong flavors. I don't know. Can you think off of your head of any Latin influence planet that we've had in Star Wars?
Latin influence.
I'm trying to think.
Probably the cantina scene in Book of Boba Fett with Max Rebo. That was kind of a bit of a Latin vibe. especially the drumming,
That's
like the percussion.
yeah. Right.
Also,
Right.
there's an episode of Clone Wars I'm thinking of. The Clone Wars, not Clone Wars. I can't remember
Jason
which
says
one, though.
Takadana. Takadana.
Oh, I can see
I
that.
thought
I
that
played
was
The Force Awakens the other day.
okay. Oh, I was thinking of the planet in Rise of Skywalker. That one's more
No one remembers that
Eastern.
film.
Jason is on it today. Thank you, Jason. So anyway, I just love this this article. It's a great read. It hits all the nerdy chords for me as a musician, and it gets me super excited for Kenobi. I would say that this article alone. We've kind of talked about this on Star Wars Obsessions live stream last weekend. My excitement level for Kenobi had waned to around a 6 or a 7. This article alone has reinvigorated. I'm back around a 9.
Really?
I just love it. I am super excited. Yeah.
You know, Santa, you're not the kind of person I could say be cautious about because you love everything that they put out.
I've enjoyed all of the Lucasfilm, the Disney Lucasfilm era content, except there's been bits here and there that didn't really.
You mean the good stuff
X-Wing.
like Rogue One and The Mandalorian?
I want to talk to you about Rogue One at some point, but we've got a lot of other things to talk about. Rogue One still doesn't. I rewatched it because of your video from last week, where you were kind of getting back into. You covered a lot of the Easter eggs and the depth in Rogue One. I was like, wow, that was really good. Makes me want to watch it again. I'd only watched it one time since seeing it in a theater, so a total of twice. And it just doesn't do it for me. And I decided, you know what? I need to go back and rewatch Rogue One. And I like it less than I did before. So
And
I don't
herein
know what
lies
to
the
do about
problem,
that.
I think, because I feel like sequels fans get something very different out of Star Wars than the other 6 films, including the spin-offs. Because
Yeah.
to me, Rogue One goes to the heart of Star Wars. I absolutely hated Rogue One when I first saw it, but that's just because of the situation in my own life. But I love it now.
Rick, I do read the books. I've read a lot of them. I've read in total over 50 of them. Most of them from the newer era. But I've gone back and read some of the Legends books. I've read some of the Legends books before, not a lot, but a handful. But in the last 2 years, I've read a ton of the books, and the High Republic novels. I've read all of them, and some I like better than others. But yeah, I've read a bulk of them. I love the Thrawn novels, for example. Those are great. So, and we're going to talk about Thrawn here in a minute. But this
There's a
Vanity
lot of
Fair,
awesome Star Wars books, especially in the Disney era. I'm a huge Star Wars books fan. I haven't read everything. I'm not as familiar with, let's say, the expanded universe as many fans are. But they're so pompous. A lot of fans who are like really strict EU fans, they're so up their own arse. Like they'll always be like the actually people in the comments. They're like, okay, but that's not canon.
Right.
Sorry, please continue.
Right. No, right. You're exactly right. And Jedi Mike asks, have I read Catalyst? Catalyst keeps coming up on my list to read, but it's tied to Rogue One, and Rogue One never really did it for me. And so I'm like, do I want to? Right? Like, have you read Catalyst, Meg?
I have.
What would you say of it?
Awesome. In fact, that would be the best novel to read going into Andor in terms of the political landscape. You know, with Krennic, because he's going to be involved. Masamida, another huge figure in that book. Tarkin. Just gives some depth. I think Disney actually did quite a good job between 2014, I would say, to 2018 I think that was the peak for Star Wars novels. For example, the Last Jedi novel is one of my favorite.
I love the Last Jedi novels. The Force Awakens novel is pretty good too. But the Last Jedi, there's two Last Jedi novels that I read. I read the regular one, and I read another one for young readers, for like
the young adult novel.
The young adult one. That one is excellent. It's really good. And then I did read the one for Rise of Skywalker, and it's nowhere near as good as the Last Jedi novel, though.
The Rise of Skywalker novel I'm familiar with because of like other YouTube channels at the time who were covering it, and it seems to try and explain the film a bit too much, and then it has that massive bombshell moment where you find out Palpatine in Episode 9 wasn't actually Palpatine. He's like, I'm more than a clone, less than a man.
My brain is divided now. I'm trying to get back onto track, and I'm reading through the chats.
Aftermath. Currently, that was an amazing trilogy. That is a fun trilogy.
It really is. Aftermath is a great trilogy, and I've read it 3 or 4 times, all 3 of them, 3 or 4 times. I really do like them a lot. Listen to them on audiobook. They're worth listening to. Getting familiar with new characters like Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones is a great character. The battle droid. It's a great. Yeah. Oh, you can. Ah. Yeah, Cobb Vanth came from there. Timothy Zahn. I love Timothy Zahn as a writer. Kindle brings him up. We're going down a rabbit hole here. I'm currently reading the Queen's novels. There's 3 of them, right? I'm rereading one, but I'm getting caught up on the Queen's novels, which they're pretty short. Are you reading anything currently?
Am I reading anything currently? I think so. I can't remember. I was reading something the other night, but then it kind of ran away from me.
Okay. All right. Today you mentioned on your video this Acolyte news. This is one of the headlines that's hitting all the channels today. But Josh Lucas this morning was like, "There's not much to it." Well, there's not much to it, but it is good to get an update.
Revenge of the Sith is my second favorite Star Wars movie after The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, sorry, not mine. Anyway, but the Acolyte, we just got a little update. The production on it has been delayed a bit. They're reporting it doesn't start until like October. And then but we also had a little bit of casting news. And in this article they talk about there's a 50-something white guy. I'm a 50-something white guy, but they didn't cast me. I'm not cast. But they also have like a 9-year-old girl who they are reporting they're going to use the one girl as twins.
Miri.
Yeah, and I don't know if Miri will be her...
it could just be a code name, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could. Yeah. Because the other guy's name is John.
It's Paul.
Paul, yeah.
Good old Paul. We all love Paul. Paul's from down the road, gets the fish and chips on a Friday, hangs out the pub with his Arsenal t-shirt. We love Paul.
Yeah.
But he turns to the dark side in this show. And his friends George and Ringo.
I like the gospel names. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I love them. But it's not exactly, other than Luke, right? Luke is a gospel name, and also Star Wars, of course. But I'm like, oh, Paul. Okay, it's a new one. but I don't know if it's going to actually be the name of the character. All right. Yeah. What's the heavy spoilers, Paul? Heavy spoilers. I like his
Oh,
his
that
channel.
guy.
Yeah, he's quite good. Quite good.
I guess. I dislike
Any,
most people on YouTube. Sorry, you're not going to gain
it's
sympathy
okay.
for YouTubers with me, apart from Santa and a couple of people in the chat. But sorry, I'm nothing
Fair
against
enough.
him or anyone.
Anything else on the Acolyte article?
I think that's it, except for production is being delayed to October, which means
Yep.
it could clash with because who was it who said Rogue Squadron is almost definitely not coming out next year? Was it Jason who said that, or?
Oh yeah, Rogue Squadron.
Because Acolyte could take that spot.
Patty Jenkins movie. So I don't know if they would conflict movie project and a live action plus series. Perhaps. See.
Yeah, Jason says he said it a few times.
Yeah. In other news, Jason Ward last night did a live stream where they were talking about this Knights of the Old Republic remake, and we have a ton of video game stories this week. I think the future of Star Wars gaming is kind of been reinvigorated. This one here, he was talking about the Knights of the Old Republic remake. The changes in the visuals. They're talking about the worlds would be perhaps increased. At least the play area in the worlds might be increased. There was some speculation that Mustafar, which was created for the old KOTOR game for PC but never released, could be released in this version. And there's a question over whether this will be canon or not. But I think one of the most exciting pieces of news that they discussed last night is that it could be a 2023 release, which is amazing because
cool.
we haven't heard too much, right?
No, I think this is another thing that we're kind of hoping they address at Celebration. I think if you look at everything they've actually spoken about versus things that were rumors, this is quite likely to be mentioned.
Yes, I certainly hope so. Shane, this is great. Why does Meg hide her face? I love her content and her voice. I love her content and her voice as well.
Shane, thank you.
Very nice. And when we entertain her and she laughs, that's my favorite. That's my favorite. But it takes some work sometimes. You guys in the chat are better at it than I am. But
I don't know why Daryl thinks I hate him. Absolutely not. I love everyone in this community.
It's a great community. So anything else? Did you see Jason's live stream?
Unfortunately not. I didn't. I wasn't able to catch up on it. I saw on Reddit a few people took what he said, but I'm not sure how accurate that is.
I was waiting for, and Jason, you'll have to let us know. I put it in the Discord DMs this morning. Are you going to write an article about the information you discussed so we can reference the article? That'd be good. That'd be good.
Oh, X-Wing is one of the few people who's seen my face.
I have not. Look, how does X-Wing get that privilege and I have not?
It's a good point. You would have thought Santa would have seen
yeah, well, one of my best friends ever. So there's additional gaming news. This came out on StarWars.com. They're releasing The Force Unleashed as a Nintendo Switch game. So both of these, KOTOR and Force Unleashed, they're not new games, but they're going to release The Force Unleashed for Switch. And this is a question that maybe Jason will talk about it some today as well. But these older games don't have the newer graphics that or game engines like the modern games do. And Jason was talking last night how his kid was looking at the old KOTOR stuff like, yeah, that ain't for me. But the new KOTOR will obviously be much updated, and the gameplay will be more modern. All of that, it's going to jump forward quite a bit. This Force Unleashed on the Switch, being that you have a lot of younger players, I'm curious: is this going to attract younger players, or is this just
I'm
for
sure it will. Star Wars always,
parents?
especially with an iconic game like this. I was going to say, is Sam Witwer the guy who unfortunately got into a recent accident, but he's going to Star Wars Celebration, or is that Matt Lanter?
That was Matt Lanter. Yeah, Matt
Okay.
Lanter was in an accident. Yeah, but Sam Witwer, he of course he's voiced several characters, but you had Star Killer is amongst his credits. So this is a nice little article here, nice interview with him regarding the release of this. And the gaming news doesn't stop there. Not only do we have KOTOR, we have The Force Unleashed. Lego Star Wars has been killing it.
This is the best
folks,
one.
It's broken all kinds of records. This article says it surpassed all sales. It's surpassing sales of all previous Lego console game launches, as well as sales records across every platform, region, and edition. That's huge.
That's
Huge.
massive.
And folks have been enjoying the gameplay. I know you've been enjoying it. We've been catching on your Patreon only streams.
And in just under an hour, there's another one.
Releasing another Patreon only content on Lego Star Wars.
Indeed.
Very
it's
good.
Called something along the lines of Kira goes on a grand adventure on Mos Eisley.
Nice. Very good. Well, be looking for that. And how far through the game are you on the story mode?
I just finished The Last Jedi, so coming to the end.
Okay. One more. I was watching Star Wars. I was watching Star Wars Obsession last night. He was just starting into Rise of Skywalker, and I wasn't able to stay all the way through it. I know you were kind of letting me know that you love the sequel gameplay compared to the prequels and original trilogy. I'm just curious because I saw some of the reviews talking about how the cutscenes are kind of short. They kind of work through the story kind of fast. Would you say it's the same for the sequels, or are they more?
It's kind of the same. I'd say it's kind of the same, but I think they spent a lot more time and care into like the very specifics. Like when you get onto Snoke's Supremacy, I think it's called, the amount of space you can explore in that ship is insane. And I feel like the levels are longer. They kind of rush through a lot of the prequel stuff. I remember when I finished Revenge of the Sith, I was like, why is half the film a cutscene and not playable? Like Mace Windu facing Palpatine, or even the final duel, the Battle of the Heroes, was a bit brief. So I have to praise the sequel trilogy for them having really gone all out on it. And the characters themselves are really cool. Rose Tico, Finn.
Okay. If they'll buy my ticket to go to Celebration next year, I'll gladly go. Without revealing more than I'm allowed to reveal. I'll just say that. Well,
Sorry,
I
what
love
was the context?
The context was Baymax saying Santa and Meg should be offered the shield checks to host Celebration next year. Look, I would do a panel with Meg any day. Any day.
I can't actually say anything yet.
No,
about
I know.
something.
I know. That's what I said. It's gonna,
So I'm going
I
to
just
leave
kind of
that
be.
without comment.
There you go. There you go. Let's see. I think from a gaming perspective, I think that was it. Yep, that was it. Lego, Force Unleashed. Oh no. There's the other bit of news this week came from the perhaps dusting off of Amy Henning's Ragtag project. We know Amy
Oh, I
Henning
thought you were going to
was.
mention Thrawn.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But it was just staying on the gaming front. We talked about Lego Star Wars KOTOR, The Force Unleashed. Oh, there's two others. Amy Henning, the Ragtag project. And again, Jason Ward of MakingStarWars.net. He did a prolonged kind of essay on Ragtag more than a year ago. You can find that on MakingStarWars.net's YouTube channel and get all the detail. That there's a lot of detail on that. And now that she's been brought over, and EA was developing that, now she's been brought over on this new project. There's a lot of speculation that it could be Ragtag brushed off, but we don't know for sure. Being that EA had the rights to Ragtag, would they release it to this new one, or did those rights expire? I don't know any of those kind of details. Right?
I think Making Star Wars did a great documentary on the full details of Ragtag, and I saw Bespin Bulletin's summary of it.
Yeah. Yes. It's really good. Hey, thank you, Star Wars Fits. Appreciate that. Appreciate the super chat, my friend.
I think
really
it's
good
about
friend.
time we got a Rebellion game. There was a bit of it in Battlefront, but to have a Rebellion or Rebel Alliance based game could be really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Baymax, I don't know if we're allowed to share this or not. That's why I'm saying we do know where it is. We know, but is it public knowledge yet? Is it something we can share? I don't know.
Definitely
I'm
not.
not good. I don't want to spill the beans that aren't mine to spill. You know, it's sort of that. You know, not getting ahead of myself. There was a question. Can you play as Snoke in the free play in Lego?
Oh, I haven't tried. Good question. I don't actually know the answer to that.
I see all the cool stuff is in the chat. And I meant to mention earlier, we did our monthly prize giveaways this week. And all the cool stuff is one of the partners of this channel. When we have winners in Europe, in the UK, we reach out to Dave over at All the Cool Stuff to help fulfill those. And we had 2 winners this month in your neck of the woods, Meg. So all the cool stuff. We've got 2 gift cards going out to get something from Dave's store. And we had 1 winner here in the US, and we are sending that over to Old Republic Collectibles here to fulfill as well.
How do we know all the cool stuff is not just Santa's alter ego? Just his P.O. box in the UK?
Well, because David Tree he's good friends with Martin Keeler, and the 2 of them have
Is there really a David Tree?
Indeed, there is, and he is quite funny. He's very, very entertaining. I did a podcast with him and Martin Keeler. By the way, speaking of Martin, have you done your Zuvium tour yet?
I'm convinced that David Tree is just Santa in disguise. He's very praising towards this David Tree fellow. Just seems a bit too convenient. Santa usually has.
You didn't answer the Zuvium question.
How do I know you're
Meg?
not Zuvium?
Well, because he's on this picture that's on my wall that is quite inappropriate. But
Many people have pictures of themselves and their families on their wall. I'm just.
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
tooting your trumpet.
Yeah. Hold up your hands. What? What? What am I holding up my hands for? I don't know. I don't know. Look,
Davy Tree's fulcrum.
Fulcrum. There you have it. There you have it. Gaming news. Oh, Fortnite. The other bit of gaming news that came out this week was there could be a season. It was expanded this week. I think the news came out last week that there was going to be a Star Wars season in Fortnite. So we got Lego Star Wars, KOTOR Remake, Force Unleashed, perhaps Ragtag, and Fortnite. Now, in addition to that, there are several other game projects out there that are in the pipeline as well. From folks like Star Wars Only, who have really complained about the lack of game content, it sounds to me that perhaps we could have a good bit of gaming content coming from Star Wars.
Star Wars Only is hilarious. He literally tweeted at EA Games, "Fuck you, EA."
I know.
He's brilliant.
He's a little salty. He's a little salty. Yes, he's pretty good. All right, so now we could move on. Star Wars Celebration. They announced this week that Kelly Marie Tran and Billie Lourd are going to be there. Pretty exciting speculation for sequels fans, being that Billie Lourd was involved in those movies as well as Kelly. So, yeah, what's your take on Kelly and Billie being at Celebration?
I think it's really great to see Carrie Fisher's daughter. She obviously had a huge role, well, a major role in the sequel trilogy. Same with Kelly, and it's good to see her back involved in the Star Wars space, even if it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's good to see them back.
I agree. And
very friendly faces.
I think we could speculate, sure, but we don't have any. This is just simply guess, right? They're going to be there. They'll be signing things. That's all wonderful, but does it mean that we're going to get any new sequel content or that they're going to be announcing anything with them? I don't think so. I'm really skeptical of that. I'm 100% in favor of it. I would love to see it, but I really don't expect it. It would be a huge surprise. And there's been a lot of speculation that, or at least fan casting, that would have Billie do the stand-in work for her mom, and then they would use the deepfake technology to cast her in the Leia role. I just don't know, right?
I don't know. I really don't know. I wouldn't be surprised either way, to be honest. If they're like, we plan to do this in the distant, in the next few years, or if they don't say anything, either is a very real possibility.
That's right. Right.
Star Wars
she did
things years ahead of schedule.
Yes. Hey, Star Wars Obsessions in the chat here, right? I want to do a booth from Celebration stream from the floor. That would be great. That would be great. I know that Sheev the Wise, he's over at Vader's Lair. He's having some friends get together. They're having a bit of a gathering. He lives in the area, so if you're out in that neck of the woods during Celebration, look for Sheev and what he's gathering out there, and perhaps you can run into Star Wars Obsession as well.
And you know what? I've got like 5 Rose Tico Funkos. I should just ship them out to Sheev because I want to get those things signed.
Oh, you should. See if you can get them signed. That would be great.
I've got,
you should.
Lieutenant Konex as well, which is Billie Lourd's character.
That'd be. You should just ship the lot of them to him and say, "Get them signed." Yeah.
If you would do it,
you're friends with Sheev. Look, Meg. If you ask Sheev to do it, he will do it. That's all. That's. There's no if. If you ask, he will, guaranteed. All All right. Speaking of celebration, there was this article that came out as well that Lars Mikkelsen is going to be unveiled as the live action Thrawn at Celebration. Now,
This
I
made my
don't
day.
think I don't
I love
think
Lars
that the
Mikkelsen.
oh yeah, and he has a history with the character. He would be great as the character. And he's been rumored to be the character for a long time, but we just don't have a lot of credible or even verified, substantiated news that he is indeed going to be live action Mars.
I think it's
Thrawn.
pretty much a certainty. I think from what everyone's been saying from LRM, literally a year and a half ago, all the major outlets are like, yeah, it's Lars. Whether we're going to get that at Celebration or not, I'm not sure. I think Thrawn is likely because we have a Mando Plus panel, and I think Thrawn could definitely play into Mando and Ahsoka.
That would be great. Yeah, you mentioned in your video that he could make an appearance in Mandalorian season 3. That's absolutely possible. That would be
I want to throw
really
you a
good. But
curveball.
yeah,
We're all expecting this to be like in the Ahsoka show, Ahsoka and Sabine's grand journey to finding it. But isn't it just like Favreau and Filoni to give us a story that takes place long afterwards, and then they backtrack the details of how they found them? I just kind of feel like that's the approach.
well, I might. And Obsession, I don't think we're going to get into any spoilers. If we do, I'll let you know before we do.
I just thought you
The
hated Obi-Wan. If you
yeah,
start talking about Kenobi now, he says.
he doesn't want any spoilers. Like he hasn't even watched the trailer, right? We talked to him the other day. He's wanting to go in completely blind for it, and that's good. I would think the likelihood of doing a show based entirely on events past, like it's a modern day, like doing another Book of Boba Fett. If maybe Rodriguez was doing it, maybe, but John and Dave, I just don't know that they would. I don't know they would set the whole show as flashbacks. Would be
Because
a
this
twist.
is what I'm thinking. Why even hire a Thrawn or an Ezra, according to the rumors, if the whole show is going to be the journey to finding them? Because then wouldn't you just need them at the end of the show?
Right. Exactly. And I think it sets up for a spinoff, right? And we've been speculating for quite some time that all of these shows are building up to a grand event, some sort of major battle, some sort of major confrontation, storyline that it could build up the tension for that event or for a spinoff series that would introduce them. I don't have the impression, at least my opinion on it, I don't have the impression that Thrawn would be a major character in Ahsoka. Certainly not a major character in Mandalorian season 3, but in both of those, he could have a very small presence. You cast the guy so that you can do that major event or the spinoff.
Maybe.
Multi Texas Ranger. Hello. Oh, I think he'd be great as Thrawn. I just curious, where it'll come.
He pronounces Harrison Jewler's name really, really interestingly.
Yeah, I'm all for a Thrawn spinoff. I absolutely would love it. But that's.
I think Thrawn deserves a trilogy, like in live action.
I agree. I completely agree. Or
There is so
like
much
a
content.
multi-season series. I absolutely would love that. Would love it. Do you think? Speaking of that, is Ahsoka more than one season? It's a limited series, isn't it? Just.
I think Jason
One?
spoke about this recently.
Yeah.
It's a point of contention. I honestly can't see them just doing one season of Ahsoka. if it's going to be this linear story of finding Ezra and Thrawn. I feel like Ahsoka needs to be the next Star Wars Rebels, have 4 seasons of it, but things can change. We know that there's overlap, so Ahsoka's journey might start at the end of Mando 3. We might have 2
Right.
Ahsoka episodes as chapters 5 and 6.
Well, I mean, they did that with Mandalorian in Book of Boba Fett, didn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. Thrawn movies, yes, and you could have Rian Johnson direct them.
You know what? I know you're joking, but Thrawn is the exact kind of character Rian Johnson would absolutely nail. And you
I
can
agree.
come at me all you want, but I think Thrawn is right in the ballpark of Johnson's directing style.
I agree. I only joke because it could happen. I honestly don't think it will. And I know people in the fandom get triggered just by bringing him up. But, you know.
He's a good director. Even if you don't like The Last Jedi, like, give the guy some credit for actually having the talent he has, you know what I mean? I know some people don't want to give him that second chance in Star Wars, but I see it differently. I think he has so much potential given the right project. Maybe the Skywalker saga wasn't the right place from a certain point of view, but I definitely think he's proven he can direct Star Wars quite well.
Sheev, I love this. Get Knives Out Thrawn. It's called Lightsabers Out. Good job.
Sheev is acting like a Jedi. Sheev. Predictable.
Very good. Very good. Star Wars Fits. Give us Heir to the Empire movies as true sequel movies. I would have loved that at one point, but I think that ship has sailed, and that sailed some time ago. So
people need to stop being like, let's replace the sequels with these other sequels. Like, deal with it, even if you hate them.
Additional trilogy. Yeah, they are. But I could see, and Jason Ward's talked about this really well, that I think they'll borrow aspects of Heir to the Empire to throw into different stories. Just sort of, what's the word? Giving them some credit, right? Like bringing it in and saying, listen, a nod to Heir to the Empire. We've seen Mount Tantus already. We've got some indication of other little bits here and there, but I think Rook has already been in Rebels, for example. Rook came from Heir to the Empire as well, so I think I could see them borrowing pieces here and there. I just don't know that we're going to get a full retelling of Heir to the Empire in any kind of way. However, I think we could get some Thrawn from the newer novels, and that's where we go into series. Could we get a multi-season series or anything like that? So I don't know.
Well, even in Ahsoka, we might get Pelion. He was kind of referenced in Star Wars Rebels, but then Filoni came out and was like, by the way, everyone survived on that ship. Obviously Price died when that Imperial thing got exploded, but all of Thrawn's crew survived, according to Filoni. And it's kind of who I thought Ray Stevenson would be playing until I realized we don't actually have confirmation that Gar Saxon died. So he could just be back as Gar Saxon.
I saw you mention that. And
he gets shot, but so do so many people in Star Wars.
Right. It doesn't mean they're dead. X-Wing, didn't Rook kill Thrawn in Heir to the Empire? Yes, he did. And I just don't know they're going to go with that storyline playing all the way through. I've heard some people mention perhaps it could be Rook could be replaced by Ezra. I don't know that they would have Ezra straight up kill Thrawn that way. But yeah, Rook did do that. And Eli Vanto from the Thrawn novels would be great. Rook died in Rebels. Right. So that's why I'm saying Lanakin, I don't think they could use Rook to kill Thrawn. Right. There's been so many things changed from Heir to the Empire. You can't do a straight retelling.
I fucking hated Rook. He was terrifying. He was always trying to get Zeb.
Right.
I hated that bounty
But
hunter.
Rook in Rebels is very different from Rook in the Heir to the Empire books. But yeah, I just don't see that. I just don't see that.
Yeah, he died, didn't he? And then Zeb took the little thing because Thrawn was trying to get through to Rook, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't think he's going to be calling back."
Yeah. Chat. Is
I love
anyone
Rebels.
else's audio skipping? Is anybody's audio skipping? Is it just a Jason problem? Oh no. So let's see. There's we already covered this story because of the Variety article. Let's see, Bespin Bulletin. We've already covered Jason's story. There's this other story that Jason released a few days ago that and this may this you're fine, Obsession. We're still not going to get into spoilers. Still not spoilers. That we're expecting Kenobi footage like any day, right? Jason said was imminent. You see it in his article here. Obi-Wan Kenobi footage, not another trailer, but rather footage, probably similar to Boba Fett and Fennec walking down the street. The footage that released before Book of Boba Fett came out. We might get a similar kind of thing.
It's going to be Obi-Wan talking with that Jawa Tika. Gonna be like, "You stole my shit," and she's going to be like, "Fuck you." I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Disney-fied.
Could be. I think it will be an underwhelming scene. That's what I think. I don't know that it's going to be anything that people like, over the moon on. I think it might be something like where we just get footage of him, hiding in the shadows someplace, right? And this cover, which I saw Reddit post this cover from Total Film. It's a pretty cool look at Ian McGregor as Kenobi. Yeah, Obsession. He's like, bye. He wants to be completely blind. So appreciate your support, Obsession.
Disney give us so little that fans go crazy over a picture of Obi-Wan. I mean, yeah, that's Obi-Wan. Great.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing spoilery, right? Like Ian McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah, like there's not much there. So let's see. I think I can close that, and we can get down to this today. You also covered this in your video today. Right? Dexter Jettster is back, baby. Oh, and this is an excerpt from Brotherhood, which is a novel coming out very soon. And I'm kind of excited for it because I've heard some other pieces of information that this book is going to help inform. The book is set, if I remember right, between... Oh, here it is. Set after Attack of the Clones, the Fires of the Clone War. Brotherhood sees Obi-Wan and Anakin, their relationship evolve. What else did you cover regarding this book?
I didn't cover it, but I know there's apparently some Satine Kreese content in it.
That would fit. Right, with the timeline. I've heard some other rumblings that I won't go into because I'll wait for it to either happen or not. Right, and then we can talk about it. But there's
one in the advert before this guy came in. It was like a Labrador. Sorry.
Oh, I gotcha. But so you can read this excerpt. There's some Naboo in there. There's Dexter. There's been a lot of just people having fun saying it would be great to see Dexter in a live action again. I agree.
It would.
I would love to see Dexter. And that Brotherhood book is coming out soon. That'll be
And if they
next on
bring
my.
Dex back, they need to have George Lucas come on the screen and say to the prequels haters, see, it wasn't that bad. You got the shitty sequels now instead. Because ultimately, the people who moaned about the prequels are the reason we're in the situation we're in with Star Wars.
It's all my fault. I know. I'm guilty.
Not you, Santa. The ones who literally sang on the streets, George Lucas raped our childhoods.
Right. I didn't do that, but yeah, I was giving you the opportunity to throw me under the bus. You know, it's the thing. But right, no, there was a lot of fan backlash after The Force Awakens. I was one of the ones at the time really defending The Force Awakens. I thought it was a fun movie. And then it wasn't until Attack of the Clones that I was like, okay, I'm out. This is not Star Wars, right? I just, that was me. Anyway. And then Revenge of the Sith didn't really.
The original trilogy, but for me that was my childhood. So the prequels
Baymax
for me
says,
are what the baseline is for Star Wars.
Baymax says I got an email. I'm afraid to look. Are
it's
you?
Darth Cheeks, isn't it?
I'm always worried. It says Martin Keeler. It says Martin Keeler. It's an email from Martin Keeler. Do you think I'm not opening that? And I'll read you the subject heading that Martin Keeler sent. Disney press release on Kenobi composer and full trailer drop date. That's clickbait. I ain't clicking that. I know what that is. I know X-Wing. We all have our toxic side, but for me it was the prequels. It is. It's on the lure. He's out there dangling it like, "Ooh, take the bait. I know you want to. I do. I want." I know it's Darth Cheeks. There's no question in my mind. There's another little bit of news that has some folks really kind of up in arms, and it's yes, I know it's for the collectors out there. So Hasbro did, and I saw this on
Bounty's channel.
Yep, Bosk Bounty. He did a video where they're showing that Hasbro wants to eliminate plastic from their packaging. And they showed a bunch of Marvel figures in the boxing, and it's reminiscent of the kind of boxing we've gotten for some of the vintage collection figures lately. The like premium vintage collection figures that are not in that bubble that's on the front. So, but again, for just people that don't know, like this is the typical like vintage collection card. You got a card, right? Cardboard back, and you got this plastic bubble in front. And so you can see the figure right through the bubble. And so collectors get these and they like to put them on the wall, like untouched, in perfect shape. If this is put in like a cardboard, you wouldn't be able to see the figure inside. So it's got people all up in arms. It's the one thing collectors are really, really kind of passionate about. And it does seem a little bit odd that you're trying to remove plastic packaging from a plastic figure. They're
literally shooting themselves in the foot, financially speaking. That's a terrible move. That's kind of the
certainly
whole
are.
Collecting.
It is for vintage and for the retro collection. This is what they want. And so what'll happen is you'll end up with third-party retailers out there selling these. And then they'll give you can even buy like custom cards that they sell, and you'll get a card and you'll get a bubble. You'll take the figure out of the box and you'll put it in here, and you may keep the box for display purposes as well. But rather than getting two figures, one that you never open and one that you do to like review it, like Tim does on Boss Bounty and Only One Kenobi, those folks, right? They always open these things and they review them. They're not going to buy two. They'll buy one. They'll open the box. They'll review the figure. Then they'll put it in the bubble and card that they get from somebody else. And so Hasbro just missing out on sales, saying, yeah, we don't want your money. We'll just take this. The other part of that is that they're raising prices on these. So rather than these being like sub 20, they're $17, $18, $19, they're raising the price on them. You're getting them up close to $25, which has been where Black Series figures have been, right? The bigger figures, these, I've got the Dave Filoni one here, right? These are much bigger figures. They're raising them to the same price that these have been, and then they're raising the price of these things as well. So it's kind of crazy. Hasbro's got a bunch of people upset. So for Star Wars fans who want something to complain about, direct your hate towards Hasbro. That's that. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else?
I think.
When are you doing your Zuvium tour? When's your Zuvium tour?
I really don't know.
Martin, instead of sending me email with Darth Cheeks in it, you should be talking to Meg and getting her Zuvium tour. You said you didn't have any big plans for the weekend. You could do a Zuvium tour, a virtual Zuvium tour.
I guess I could. Why is X-Wing pissed?
The Hasbro thing. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Hasbro reducing plastic. Look, I understand them wanting to reduce plastic. It's just kind of a weird way to do it.
Right industry.
Right. And they're trying to get rid of plastic waste. And I get it, but daggone, yeah, there he is.
It reminds me of George Collins' rant about how we think we can save the planet when we haven't even been able to work out how to get along with ourselves first, with each other.
Right. That's a really good point, Meg. And you and I, when we just visit with each other, we've kind of talked about people thinking, focusing on such a small amount. Well, let me give you an analogy. Like, I work for a major corporation, multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they were trying to do budget cuts. And so what they wanted us to do is to reuse paper that we had printed, like a memo on. They wanted us to turn it over and print something on the other side, one sheet of paper, to save resources. They wanted us to save paper clips and reuse them. They wanted us to, there's all kinds of things they're trying to do on saving money by printing on the backside of a piece of paper. When you're a multi-billion-dollar company, printing on the backside of a piece of paper isn't going to make any difference to your bottom line. It's just not. And removing bubble from the front of a vintage collection card is like trying to print on the backside of a piece of paper. Look,
I'm not denying there is a huge problem. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying the way that we go about it. I'm not an expert to speak on this issue, by the way, so I might tap out, but it's just a weird, when your whole product relies on something, is that the best decision you're making for the company?
Right. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. When it's a major selling point and aspect of your product, you're kind of not understanding your audience. And I completely agree. There is a major recycling plastic problem. But, and I get that Hasbro's wanting to say, look, we have eliminated all plastic from our packaging so that they get that press kind of coverage. But is that press coverage going to help you sell more toys? No, I don't know.
No.
Thanks. Is having an outer and inner box. Removing the outer box reveals a toy with no plastic. Right. That's what they did here. Right. So that's what they did with this Black Series figure. And this is a very popular one, right? You got Dave Filoni there as Trapper Wolf. It's a Black Series figure, and it's an outer and inner box, right? So Trapper Wolf is right in here. There's no plastic film over top of it, so you can see the figure directly in there, the helmet, all of that. So this works great, except that people really want to, called virtue signaling. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. But for vintage collectors, they want to put this on the wall, right? They
They're
want
such
this as a
hypocrites,
display.
these big companies.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a form of virtue signaling when you get right down to it. They don't actually care.
Right. Right. Yeah. Look, I get it. I get it. Microplastics, it's a problem. I'm not denying that's not a problem, but they haven't said anything about TVC yet. You're right, Martin. They haven't said anything yet. The concern is that they will. And Tim, Boss Bounty, he expressed that concern, and I think people really are worried that as a corporate direction that it will impact TVC. But we'll see. We'll see. No use in getting overworked up right now. I think now it's just to let Hasbro hear the concern. Like, what are you going to do, right? No, X-Wing right now, they just showed Marvel. It wasn't even Black Series. Like, it wasn't even, it wasn't Star Wars at all. Martin said, read the press release. Okay. The Hasbro one.
Bulletin just kind of teased something quite huge on Twitter.
They did.
It's just a
Let me see if I can
gif
find.
of Kylo saying we're not done yet. Kind of like teasing something sequel related.
Oh, there it is. Let me share this since it's breaking news. Why? Then Ward retweeted it. So I've got Jason here. So yes, Bespin confirmed a sequel trilogy to the sequel trilogy trailer today, exclusive to Oculus Quest 3. Now, I think there's some tongue in cheek there, right? I don't think that's. But there you have Bespin Bulletin. We're not done yet.
I wonder what he's going to drop. He still hasn't dropped his Andor piece yet.
No, he has been teasing that. Says, I'm holding on to information I haven't let out yet. And we're like, yeah, I think so too. Look, I'm all for sequels era content. And I don't know about a trilogy. I don't know about movies, but I'm absolutely excited about getting more content. Oh, here's a question. X-Wing, because you're a friend. You know what what that means, don't it? It means I've got to get Rey's lightsaber out. This is for you. This is your fault. To bring it up, you get to see the yellow lightsaber right there. That's X-Wing's favorite. There you have it.
Shade of yellow looks very familiar. I think Santa's been pre-streaming.
Let me ask you this question. I don't know if I've asked you this. What's your Reylo take?
I don't like Reylo.
I don't like Reylo either.
I'm not straight
at all,
so it kind of doesn't hit that same thing for me. So
well, I understand that too, but
I'm all about Ahsoka Tran. I've told you about that one.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
X-Wing. Be part of the solution, not the problem. Thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. And I will try to catch one of your live streams and get even. Thank you for that. No, look, I'm not a big Reylo fan. I have friends who are big Reylo fans. I love Girls with Sabers. I think they do a lot of great things. But and I love just their general.
Rey a girl with saber. A bit condescending.
Girls with Sabers are friends of mine. They're great. They're great fans.
Oh, it's a channel.
And
Sorry.
They're big. They're big Reylos, but they were into the theme of Beauty and the Beast. With that, I am
Please
more
just bring
of
Dr. Afra into live action, then I can have some representation.
Yeah, I would love to see. Dr. Afra would be. I think she's a foregone conclusion. We will get it, but I was more of a Phantom of the Opera theme for the sequel trilogy, where Rey represents Christine, Kylo represents the Phantom, and that Finn was Raul, and that we would see that kind of theme played out. And I thought they did it masterfully, because the whole mask, and then Kylo getting the side of his face disfigured. I was like, oh, he's Phantom. That's what's happening. It's happening. And then they pulled a bait and switch on me, and I didn't care for that. Anyway, that's me. I was a Finn Ray, not a Raylo.
I was a Finn Poe. I'm still a Finn Poe.
Finn Poe.
In fact, I think Lego Star Wars have kind of given a bit of that, always hugging each other, and the chemistry they had, that would have been quite a cool
Talano.
series.
Who's tall in here? Talano. Oh. I get Ano. That's Ahsoka Tano. Tal. Who would that be?
Oh, Talon. Darth Talon.
Talon. Oh, I see. I see.
Talano. Everyone likes Darth Talon.
Yeah.
She's a badass. So's Darth Maul. They would have been great sequel trilogy heroes in George Lucas's original.
Well, but they killed. I mean, that idea kind of went away earlier, because they end up killing Maul again, and I think he was.
You know what, Santa? Maul will always live until he's literally an eyeball just hopping around Tatooine. They're going to keep bringing him back.
Right. I love Phantom of the Opera. My favorite musical. I really like Greatest Showman as well, but Phantom of the Opera, we've seen it live as well several times. Love that musical. But yeah.
Santa, can you answer me this? How did? Because I was rewatching Rebels. I still don't understand how he died. Because
Maul?
there's not much of a duel between Obi-Wan and then his thing snapped in two. Did I miss something, or is it not quite obvious how he died from that?
I thought it was quite obvious. Obi-Wan stabbed him with a lightsaber.
You didn't see it though.
Well, I mean, I guess you don't see the full execution of it, but it's very well implied, I think.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I need things to be made very black and white for me, otherwise I don't understand it.
Well, can
Then he holds him in his arms and he's like, is he the chosen one? And then old Obi's like, he is. But I didn't see the thing go into his chest. It might just be my TV. I just adjusted the HDR settings.
I will have to look to see if you see the burn hole in his chest afterward.
Oh, that's
when
a
he's
hole.
laying down.
I'm good at seeing holes. I should have seen that one.
$2 from Roland New. Thank you for that. Maul, Kylo, Ventress, Dooku, Grievous. Who's your favorite? Maul, Kylo, Ventress.
I
Dooku.
swear, if you say Kylo, I'm gonna say
I'm not.
Grievous.
No way. Come on, Meg. No way. Grievous is my least favorite. You can't say Grievous. That's not true. It's not true. It's lies. It can't be. Not Grievous. Who's your favorite of those?
I'm gonna say Grievous because I'm
Grievous.
not a fan of any of those other ones. Dooku was quite cool, but I'm not a fan of Maul or Kylo or Ventress.
You're triggering me.
Because Ventress
You're
is a Clone Wars
triggering me on
character.
purpose. I like Ventress a lot.
Shitty
Dooku
character.
was developed in the prequels, but his character gets much better outside the prequels. It's between Ventress and Dooku for me. Maul is the coolest of them, but I kind of like Ventress' cheekiness. Right? She's got a great kind of sass to her. I'll go Ventress right now, Ventress. But I love Dooku as well. Outside of the prequels, like in the movies, there's just not quite enough there for him. Anyway, doomed. Let's see. We got the Mike Porter dad joke. Gotta get to the Mike
You know
Porter
what they
dad
should have
joke.
done for Maul? They should have done that really funny cartoon skit where the person chops up the other person really quickly, but you don't see it, and then they just crumble like cubed beef.
Right.
And just dice apart.
Right.
That would have been quite
But they
funny.
sort of did that. They sort of did that in the Phantom Menace, right? They sliced him in half, but he didn't
True.
come across, right? Like when they'll take a sword and they'll chop a candle in half, but the candle stays there and then it slides off. That's what they did.
But Kenobi should have done it like vertically, just to be sure this time.
Oh, that'd have been good.
And then they should have
Like
had
he's already
Ewan
been
with his Scottish accent being like, "I swear to God, if you come back again," like, just one last fuck you.
No, I need X-Wing to vocalize that for us. Like play that for us, X-Wing, because he does a great accents. That'd be great. The Mike Porter dad joke. What did the equestrian say to the Jedi? Oh, may the horse be with you. Mike Porter. Love Mike Porter. Okay.
I've got one. What did an
Yeah?
unhappily married Kenobi say to his wife?
Unhappily married Kenobi say to his...
May divorce be with you.
Oh, very funny. Yes. All right. Anything else? I've had a lot of fun hanging out with you, Meg. It's always the highlight of my Friday.
It's always been great. I think Mike Porter
We're gonna go see.
has just broke some news. He's playing a Hutt in live action, no CGI. Porter the
I
Hutt.
love Mike Porter the Hutt. There he is.
Porter the Hutt, brother of pizza.
Thank you for that, KG. Those memberships mean a lot. We're trying to do a lot here and just bring a lot of build a wonderful community. Meg, of course, being central to it, but our good friends Sheev and X-Wing, Star Wars Obsession. Can't forget Jason Ward. We've got some great people here, and it's great to be a part of this community. And it's just wonderful to hang out with you guys. I have so much fun. I really do. We're going to go see the new Dumbledore movie tonight. We're going to go out to dinner and things like that. I see the mail, Martin. I'm not clicking that.
Dimbly Dumbledore.
You say you don't have any plans. You're going to go see the Zoovium, right?
I'm going to go see the Zoovium. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
I heard you say it. So we'll have to follow up and see if you're able to carry through with that.
You know what they should canonize in Star Wars? America.
What's that?
They should have Boba Fett in season 2 go to America. And then they should just have him gorge on McDonald's, become a Hutt, go back to Tatooine. I don't know where I'm going with this.
I don't either. Like, Meg. You're fantastic. All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We'll see what happens next week in Star Wars. So hopefully we'll get that Kenobi footage. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for the day. We've had some great participation today in the chat. We've got, at one point we had over 60 concurrent viewers. You guys, please do the socials things. Yes, the Zoovium is real. It's a real place. It's a museum of Constable Zuvio. It's an actual museum of Constable Zuvio. It's not a joke. It's real, but it is entirely entertaining. You'll have a good time visiting it. So please do the things, the liking, the sharing, the commenting. All of that is wonderful. It's so good. And thank you once again, Meg. And we will. Yeah, we're going to wrap it there, and I'm going to click a couple buttons, and then we'll visit just a bit. So until next time, my friends, thank you so much for being here, and until next time, Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye. Hot dang!
Talking through the news from a galaxy far away. Toys and book reviews, positivity all the way. Come and join the fun, subscribe and like away. Movie news and show reviews, it's like Christmas every day. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, what fun it is to chat on the Star Wars Santa show. Oh, Star Wars Santa, Star Wars Santa, the Star Wars Santa show.